So in our last video, we uncovered the two meetings that didn't happen on the new Lincolnshire Greater Authority there, and it's shocking to say the least. Not to say that those two meetings were kind of important, especially the audit committee and the scrutiny and overview committee. You'd think those meetings would be kind of important, especially like the first meetings. You'd make sure they are there. However, we now go over to have a look at what's going on with Luke Campbell over in Hull. Some of you may remember the last time we were covering, of course, Campbell, was he'd had his first big thing. He'd had his first big interview. And shockingly, there's been a little bit of a follow-up. So this will get refreshed later, but most of you will remember that the question got asked, and I can't remember off the top of my head how the guy phrased it, but it was like, look, this area net zero, it's good. There's like 2,000 jobs in that authority that rely on that. It's a growing industry in the area. More people want to get involved. It's been identified by the government as an area where this can be like a growing thing for like manufacturing, green industry, green energy. What's your opinion on this, given your party's stance? Luke Campbell's stance was, I will stand up and make sure that I always put, the people of this region first. he cried, and of course, since then, you may remember, Tice sent out that letter saying, "Hey, if you invest and we get in, well, you can forget about all that stuff. We'll rip it all up." Right? So if you are mayor of that area where a lot of jobs, growing jobs indeed, in that industry are now potentially under threat from your own party, what do you think your response to this is going to be? You were warned about what happened if you were to elect this guy. And yeah, it's coming true on this. Honestly, Luke Campbell was basically said right from the get-go, he's going to be a puppet. And by the looks of it, this pretty much confirms, yeah, he is going to be a puppet. He's going to be an absolute puppet for Reform UK. So before we go and getting into this, please do remember to click on the like, share, and subscribe buttons. And of course, down below, there are links to my Patreon page, the one-off day link called Buy Me Coffee, where you can buy me coffee, the YouTube thank you button. And of course, as well, don't forget to ring the bell as well, so you get notifications of when we go live or when we drop a new video. So as always, thank you very much to all those people who do help out the channel. And again, links down below, you can go check those out. So, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. So, this is from Whole Live. Luke Campbell says renewable firms should act at your own risk after Reform UK letter. So let's get into this, shall we? The Mayor of Hull and East Yorkshire has now told renewable energy firms, and remember, he said this in a meeting, so this is like, the mayor of this region saying, now seeking government funds to now enter at your own risk. Luke Campbell, of course, stark words followed a question posed by a member of the public regarding Reforms UK stance on net zero. The party's, of course, deputy leader, Richard Tice, recently sent out a letter to energy firms warning that the Reform UK government would then reassess all net zero related commitments. It came after Mr. Campbell announced a combined authority had secured a government grant to be used to fund solar panels across the region, something he said that he was delighted about. So you are the mayor, you've come out, you've said, I am going to stand up for Hull. I am going to put the people of this region first before party or whatever, other party officials might say. Oh, and all this grant money I've got for all these solar panels in the region, which is going to be, again, good for the region, that I'm absolutely delighted about. Invest at your own risk. Yeah, this is confirming a lot of people's fears that this guy is just an absolute puppet for reform. At a meeting recently of the Hull and East Yorkshire Combined Authority Executive Board held on Friday, the 25th of January, a member of the public, Mr. Edward Washer, quizzed the mayor on the issue during the public questions part of the meeting's agenda. This was, of course, not the first time the pair had come face to face on this issue of net zero, as back in May, he asked the mayor if he saw any conflict between Reform UK's stance and his own, to which the mayor said, "I have been very vocal on stating that I will represent this region and I will put them first over any party politics. I always expressed that I'll put this region first over anything." Apparently not now. Apparently not. And good on this guy, Edward Washer, for basically continuing to hammer this guy on this question and getting basically such a drastic change in stance. Washer's, of course, question to the mayor on the July the 25th pertained, of course, to the upcoming 7th round of allocations of AR7 of the government's contracts for difference scheme, which, of course, seeks now to incentivize the green transition. In a letter now to energy firms, Mr. Tice said that the Reform government, which of course believes that is now more likely than not, would of course seek to strike down all contracts signed under the AR7. In light of this and this letter, what Mr. Washer went on to ask, what advice would the mayor give to companies in our area that might be considering entering bids in the AR7? Mr. Campbell then thanked Mr. Washer for his question and said, "I would suggest that you enter at your own risk. I don't have any solutions. I'm not an expert on green energy." First of all, like the comment as a whole, complete deviation from his previous comments and statements about this. You know, oh yeah, you're a company in the area that might be considering putting in one of these bids. Yeah, enter at your own risk. I don't have any solutions. He is the mayor of Hull and East Yorkshire. I would expect him to have some solutions. And yeah, while you may not be an expert on green energy, that was not what the question was about. It was about finding funding for these projects. Anyway, Campbell's, of course, stance on net zero has been very much under the spotlight ever since he was elected the mayor's the first regional mayor back in May. While Reform UK, of course, seeks to scrap the net zero schemes, one of the 4 principles stated on the website of Hull and East Yorkshire Combined Authority that Mr. Campbell is a figurehead of is to deliver a sustainable future through clean energy generation, sustainable development, climate adaptation, and resilience, a strategic approach now to harnessing our natural capital asset. Again, says one thing, comes out and says something completely different. Gee, I wonder why. Because someone I think's pulling the strings. Very, very much so. Campbell, of course, has shown support for renewable industries on at least a number of occasions in his first month in office. He has, of course, supported the Combined Authority bid for the allocation of the government's Mayoral Renewables Fund, which will, of course, fund solar panels being placed on the roofs of a number of buildings across Hull and East Ridings. Why then are you basically saying to these firms, in light of that letter, invest at your own risk? I thought you were meant to be standing up. I thought you would be standing up to Richard Tice, saying, "No, this is wrong. You shouldn't be doing that. I am going to make sure these things are protected. I'm going to make sure and advise people. Yes, you should invest in this stuff." He has also, of course, visited and shown support for the Vertigo Fuels bioethanol site, which, of course, faces closure. The site is, of course, the managing director, Ben Hackett, said the foundation on which the green industrial growth strategy, of course, can be built. The renewable sector is, of course, very much key to the region. The question, of course, about how a Reform UK mayor would balance the interests of the region and the party was raised numerous times throughout the election campaign. This was, for example, a key talking point in the Hull's Daily Mail election debate, which the Labour candidate, Margaret Pinder, told Mr. Campbell he cannot have it both ways, saying you're trying to, but you can't. The debate also saw the Lib Dem candidate, Councillor Mick Ross, who is the leader of Hull City Council, asked Mr. Campbell if he disagreed with Reform UK leader Nigel Farage on the issue of net zero. Mr. Campbell then replied, "It's not up to me whether I agree with that." Yeah, I keep on saying this whenever we cover Luke Campbell. Everyone's big worry, everyone's big concern was this guy's never been in politics. He's never been anywhere close to politics. Not only is he going to be mayor of Hull and East Yorkshire, he's going to be involved in setting up Hull and East Yorkshire, a very big undertaking in itself. Is he prepared for that? And now this guy who said, "I'm going to stand up and what is best for the region," he's now back turning on that because guess what? He is a puppet. Someone in the Reform UK office down in London is pulling Campbell's strings, getting him to dance to their tune. So, yeah, surprise, surprise, of course, Luke Campbell, coward, not standing up for apparently what he says he believes in. And basically will fold anytime I suspect he gets a letter from Tice. After all, why, of course, would your firm, would your region get all this money and then potentially lose it all? Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. So, as always, thank you very much for watching. And of course, as always, we'll see you all next time.